We're here at the sidelines of the Global Business Summit in New Delhi, and I'm in conversation with Frederic De Wilde, President with Philip Morris International of the SSEA, CIS, and MEA regions. Sir, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Frederic, you're of course part of the management team that has led this transformation towards smoke-free. When it comes to Philip Morris International, it's a huge shift. The industry has washed it with bated breath. How do you essentially manage the complexities of legacy business on the one hand, with the need to innovate by way of reduced risk products on the other?
Look, this journey started more than 20 years ago. And the challenge we were faced with was, could we find products, we were selling cigarettes, could we find products that would reduce the individual risk and the overall societal harm for the population, right?
Sure.
It was an easy question, very complicated challenge.
Right.
And we went in many different directions until we found out that the main issue was combustion, creating thousands of substances, many of those being cancerogenic, right? So the challenge there was, can we find and develop a product that would not burn, but at the same time would satisfy consumers?
Sure.
Because you can develop the best product in the world if you have no consumer acceptance, this would not work, right? So 10 years ago, we tried before pilots, didn't work, the product was not satisfactory, too bulky, and 10 years ago, I think we found the right candidate. And the good sign there was that many of the people involved in the company had switched from smoking to these products. And we said, we are ready to go.
We're on to something.
So 10 years ago, we started launching the product,
right,
where we saw very good traction. In the meantime, we were building a very rigorous scientific package as of day one. And we thought that we had balanced the equation. On the one hand, we had the proof in our science that these products are less toxic and are better products. On the other hand, we could see consumers being ready to move and go for this product. So it was not necessarily a big challenge in the company, because when you sell a product,
sure,
and you have an available product, new product that you can launch and that has the potential to reduce the harm, I think it goes without saying that you will be all in this product, right? And that's what happened when I was in the European Union region. We launched in many products, in many countries. We saw quite a nice traction, and the company went all in. We spent $14 billion to develop the science, the product, and launch the product in markets in the last 10 years.
Right.
And in the last quarter, I think 40% of our turnover was coming from this product. So it's an interesting case study. We looked around, very few multinational companies disrupted themselves from the inside as we did.
Sir, I think you've gotten it absolutely right. And if I could do a bit more of a deep dive.
Sure.
You inherently have a global perspective because of the diverse regions that you manage. So how challenging has it been for Philip Morris International to essentially align its smoke-free vision, its smoke-free strategy with countries that have such a broad range of cultural and consumer and regulatory nuances?
Yes, I think regulatory comes first. We cannot launch these products without the support of the authorities.
Right.
These products deserve a specific regulatory framework where science is looked at, communication with consumers are looked at, taxation is different.
Sure.
So we need support from the authorities, and we see different perspectives in the world. Many countries, certainly in Europe where I was working before, have adhered to a sort of harm reduction strategy on tobacco,
sure,
and have created specific tax categories and regulatory regimes for these products. When this happens, this paves the way for us to invest, talk to consumers, and convert them. There are still some countries in the world where the product is either not looked at or sometimes even banned de facto.
Right. India
makes part of this category. So we are here to work with the authorities to demonstrate all the things we've done around, to be transparent, and eventually bring these alternatives to the smokers in these spaces, particularly in India. And I looked at some of the data, and it goes against logic, because in the countries where these products are banned, actually you see the cigarette business growing. And in other countries, you see exactly the opposite. You see that the cigarette business is decreasing, and the new products are taking advantage.
Well, I think that makes for a wonderful segue into my next question, which is, Frederic, do you believe that the perception around harm reduction products is finally beginning to shift? You know, are people truly abandoning their cigarettes? And if so, do they perhaps prefer the more traditional alternatives?
Look, I think the perception is shifting, and I can give you some examples.
Please.
Prior to being in Europe, I was president of Japan. So we've introduced a product in Japan some 10 years ago. Today, the cigarette industry, smoking cigarette industry, is half of what it was before. So very huge adherence to these products.
Right.
In the European Union, also these products have made very good inroads. I looked at the numbers recently in Italy, in Rome. A third, 30%, more than 30% of the tobacco users have moved to these alternatives. Another interesting example is the example of Sweden, where alternatives have been brought to the market like 30 years ago. When you look at the data in Sweden today, Sweden has the lowest smoking incidence rate across all European countries, around 5%. Amongst 20 to 30, it's almost negligible. And when you look at the impact of this, you see that the lung cancer incidence in Sweden is the lowest in the European Union. So this is typically a country where what we put on the table, which was looked at as being very dairy at the time, right. Could we see the end of cigarettes in the world? This is a place where this could happen.
And when we talk about the disruption, right, wherein Philip Morris International has essentially not just talked the talk, but walked the walk, right. What becomes so critical is the messaging. And how do you bring about trust and transparency in the messaging, given the diverse range of stakeholders, from consumers, public health advocates, regulators, and the list goes on?
Sure. Look, I think the answer is in the question. I think it's all about transparency. And, you know, we hired around 500 top scientists since we started this adventure and journey about new products, right? And these people didn't join to see more cigarettes being sold.
Right.
They joined there with their ethical standards to make this a reality. Second thing, our science, since we built it more than 10 years ago, is absolutely available. You can go on the net, you can look at our methodologies, at the results we do. But beyond that, since 10 years, we also have state agencies which have reviewed our science or portion of our science, more than 10. Sure. One very well-known one is the FDA in the United States, right. Where they granted us, after reviewing thoroughly all our science, a market approval authorization to market the product there. So this is for state agencies. Now, I understand there is skepticism. Right. It's a tobacco company coming with its own science. So we've got our science transparent. We've got state agencies looking at it. But there is also more than 750 studies that have been done independently from us on this entire new products that we bring to the market. So I think from that angle, the transparency is there, and therefore the trust is coming. Now, from a consumer standpoint, first of all, I'd like to say that, and this is deeply embedded in our values, people should not smoke. They should not smoke. And if they smoke, they should quit. Unfortunately, some people want to continue smoking or cannot quit. Right. And this is why we are coming with these products, right? Second thing, minors should not have access, should not buy, and should not consume these products. Sure. This is also one of our critical values, things we do every day. People might be skeptical, but we are employees. Most of our employees have children. They don't want their children to see, touch, or consume any of the tobacco products. And when we embed this in the way we operate, in our communication, we embed transparency and responsibility, we see that we are moving the needle in many, many places.
Well, Frederic, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to speak with us and sharing such a rich range of insights from your personal and professional journey alike. We wish you and the larger PMI team all the continued success, sir.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.